Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Alvarado and I am a graduate assistant with the Advanced Research and Curriculum. This PowerPoint presentation was developed by the ARC graduate writing consultant Franco Zamora. This guide will serve as a refresher on the basic parts of speech. Keep in mind that this guide will be interactive and rewritable. Also remember that this guide is not meant to be an exhaustive resource, so feel free to consult other resources for further clarification. For best use of this guide, think critically about the sentences you encounter and what each part of the sentence does. First, we'll talk about frequent parts of speech and simple sentences. The two most common parts of speech are nouns and verbs. Nouns describe a person, an example is Taylor Swift, a place, such as New York, a thing, like a book, or an idea. An example of this can be love or justice. Verbs describe an action, such as running, eating, or walking, to name a few examples. These nouns and verbs can be used to build simple sentences. One example is I walked. Feel free to come up with your own examples. Pronouns are another part of speech. Pronouns are a kind of noun that acts in place of another noun. There are two types of pronouns, singular and plural. Singular pronouns include he, she, they, I, and you, whereas plural pronouns include we, us, they, you, and y'all. Notice how singular pronouns only describe one person, while plural pronouns describe multiple people. Note that many professional and academic sources are now advocating for the use of they as both a singular and plural pronoun. What are pronoun antecedents? Pronoun antecedents are nouns that the pronoun refers to. Pronouns typically latch onto the last noun presented in the context of the sentence. Here's an example you can try. Clarify the pronouns in this paragraph by changing some of the pronouns back into their antecedents. Feel free to pause the video if you would like to practice with this example. What are prepositions and prepositional phrases? Prepositions can be described as words that indicate a direction. Note that in the context of prepositions, time is also considered a direction. Prepositional phrases are similar and have the same function as prepositions. The only difference is that they can be several words long and act as a single unit. Some examples of prepositions include up, on, in, of, for, and to. And some time-directed prepositions include before, after, and during. Prepositions usually take an object, or a noun that helps the reader determine the context of the preposition's direction. Some examples include out of context, on a plane, or for a reason. Here is an example you can try. Identify all of the prepositional phrases in this Green Day song. Note that there are at least 10 prepositions here. Try and find them all. Some other parts of speech include adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns and can be stacked onto each other to modify a single noun, or can be presented as an adjective clause to modify an entire sentence. In this example, which is exhausting would act as the adjective clause. Notice how it modifies the entire sentence. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Most people identify adverbs by the suffix ly at the end of a word. Examples of adverbs include quickly, slowly, quietly, massively, intentionally, naturally, and very. For practice, try to think of some adverbs that don't end in ly. Up to now, we've discussed the parts of speech that are most commonly taught. Some less discussed parts of speech include interjections and articles. Interjections interrupt a sentence. They are typically informal and can be sounds or words. Wow, gosh, hey are some examples. Articles, also known as determiners, Determine quantity and modify nouns. There are only 3 articles in the English language, and these include the, a, and an. Some linguists argue that determiners are a much broader category of modifiers that include indefinite and demonstrated pronouns and numbers. However, for clarity, the most agreed upon articles are the ones above. Conjunctions are another part of speech that joins sentences, subjects, verbs, adjectives, and ideas together. There are many variations of conjunctions, such as coordinating, subordinating, and conjunctive. Common coordinating conjunctions can be remembered by the acronym FANBOYS, which stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. These coordinating conjunctions are essential for creating compound sentences. Subordinating conjunctions are just as important as coordinating conjunctions, but they differ in how they join sentences and ideas. There are many subordinating conjunctions. They are complex, and they sometimes serve different functions depending on the sentence they're in. You'll often find subordinating conjunctions in dependent clauses and complex sentences. As an overview of the parts of speech, you can remember these key elements. Nouns are a person, place, or thing. Pronouns act in place of another noun. Verbs describe an action. Conjunctions connect or combine clauses or phrases. Prepositions demonstrate direction. Adjectives modify a noun or pronoun. Adverbs modify a verb, adjective, or another adverb. Interjections express strong feelings, and articles or determiners marks or determines a noun or noun phrase. Note that although there are only 9 parts of speech in English, several words can have multiple meanings and uses. Experts sometimes disagree on the specific functions of some words in a given sentence. Also, grammar and mechanics are always expanding in our language, so it's important to be conscious of changes in form. Also, remember that some of these parts of speech have subtypes. Finally, note that this list is not exhaustive, but can serve as a useful guide for reference or grammar practice.